Hi, this is Comet Troy at Harmony Ridge RV Park, coming to you from Linden, Tennessee. And today we have an exciting video on the 4 ways to monitor electricity at an RV park. Let me start with a little story. I know you all love my stories. I bought my first RV in 2016 and then became a full-time RVer in 2018. It always amazed me that I could go into an RV park, plug in my RV, and that the electricity was included with my RV site fee. What? Free electricity, you say? On hot days I could have my AC running and have my windows open for some fresh air? You don't say. In winter I can run some space heaters and not use my propane? I'm essentially receiving free electricity. I just can't believe it when I first started RVing. How wonderful is that? Half the IT guy even considered setting up a high energy consuming Bitcoin mining operation in a pop-up RV and taking it to, or a pop-up camper, taking it to an RV site with free electricity and plugging it into the RV pedestal as a side gig. You know, the big challenge to mining Bitcoins is they require a lot of power to mine a coin, which doesn't really make it worth it. But if you're getting free electricity, hey, it might not be a bad idea. Now, as a RV park owner, boy, the tables have changed. And just think about it. So Hef comes in here with his pop-up camper, with his bit mining rig to mine Bitcoins in his pop-up camper, and he plugs into one of my 50 amp RV pedestals. And Bitcoin mining operation basically runs 24/7, 365 days a year. Let's do some calculations here. A 50 amp, 240 volt RV pedestal. You just multiply the two numbers together and you get 12.5 kilowatt hours of energy. So in 1 hour, that Bitcoin mining operation is going to use 12,500 watts of power. Now our power here in Tennessee is 12 cents a watt, 12 cents a kilowatt, I should say. Not a big deal, right? 12 cents. So, but let's put this in perspective. If you take the 12,500 watts, or 12.5 kilowatts, and multiply it by 12 cents a kilowatt, that comes up to $1.50 an hour. $1.50 an hour multiplied by 24 hours in a day comes out to be $36 a day. Now, if you take that at $36 a day and multiply it by 30 days, $1,080 a month of electricity that Bitcoin mining operation will consume at an RV park. Now that's just crazy. Think of the RV park that charges $700 a month with electricity included. They're going to get a bill for $1,080 of electricity on Hef's Bitcoin mining operation rig. It's just not going to, I think you can see the potential here of how that would negatively impact an RV park's business. Now that's more of an extreme example, because I don't know of many people who've actually mined Bitcoins at an RV park, although I'm sure it's probably happened. But let's look at, there's a big push going on right now for EVs. So, our EVs are starting to show up in RV parks. A lot of people who own an EV car have a level 2 charger for that car in their garage. Now, a level 2 charger is almost the same as the Bitcoin mining operation for power requirements. It's a 50 amp, 240 volt connection on the garage wall. That same 12,500 kilowatts, or 12,500 watts, 12.5 kilowatts. And it uses the same amount of power as a Bitcoin operation. In fact, many EV owners carry an adapter with them to be able to plug into an RV jack, the 50 amp socket. So a lot of RV parks are starting to see a lot of this happening in their rig. Now, the big difference between an EV charging and a Bitcoin mining operation is the Bitcoin mining operation pretty much runs max power, continuously, where an EV, an electric vehicle being charged, is going to just consume power while it's charging the battery. Once the batteries are full, then it will stop consuming power, other than just to top it off occasionally. RV parks have really caught on to this, and they've begun to retrospectively charge their monthly RV guests for their power, for the electricity they consumed, or they've actually prohibited EV charging at their RV sites to address this problem. So it's coming, it's here. So that's kind of a little bit of the basics of what's going on. Electrical usage is probably the biggest potential of variable cost that can make or break an RV park. So a smart RV park owner is going to pass on the electricity cost to the guest, at least for the monthlies. You could do it for all states if you wanted to, but it's going to be critical for the monthlies, because the monthlies are the ones that are deeply discounted. Typically the $36 a day, if you had a Bitcoin mining operation, if you're charging $50 a day, you're still going to make $14, but that's here nor there. So in order to pass the electrical cost onto the guest, you need to be able to measure or meter the actual electricity used by each guest. You can't just look at your electric bill that comes in the mail and charge the guest that, because all of your RV sites or multiple RV sites will be on that same bill. So how will you know which RV guest used how much power? So I get a bill for $1,000 and I got 4 RV guests. I just can't charge all 4 of them $250 each. That just wouldn't be fair. So that's where metering comes into play. All right, so there's 4 options available to RV parks. There's your basic traditional bubble meters, there's smart bubble meters, there's smart distribution panels that have smart breakers in them, and then there's retrofitted traditional distribution panels with smart devices installed with them. So let's talk about each of those devices, each of those options. So the traditional bubble meter is the first option. You've all seen those. They've been on houses, for as long as I can remember, back into the 50s, 60s, or even probably longer than that. It's a meter that goes onto the side of your house, and then it's got a wheel that spins around slowly. And those have been used in RV sites forever, and it's actually kind of the gold standard that's been there the longest. So the problem with them is a park staff member, has to go and physically walk up to the meter, read the current electricity when the guest checks in, and then they have to read it again when the guest checks out, write that down on a piece of paper, go back into the office, calculate the difference, put it in the computer so they can build the guest. So now that solution is being replaced by remote solutions where that electrical usage can be read remotely from RV park office staff, or even anywhere in the United States or across the world with an internet connection. And those are the next 3 solutions that we're going to talk about. The smart bubble meter is kind of the same thing as a traditional bubble meter. It's still got the glass meter with the round thing in it. Some of them are digital now, but you basically pull out the traditional meter, the dumb meter as I call them, and you plug in a smart meter, and the same kind of thing. It uses the same meter base, and the electricity goes through it, and it measures the the electricity. And then there's usually a link to the internet, so that can be reported on remotely as well. So those are gaining a lot of popularity, and I know at least one vendor that provides that type of solution, and that vendor provides a solution that can be integrated into several RV reservation systems. So it will actually pull those, not only give you the option to read the meters remotely, but pull them right into the reservation system. It's a nice setup. The vendor that we checked into, there's a upfront cost for deploying the meters to all your RV site pedestals. And then there's an ongoing subscription fee to, to remotely read those meters and integrate them into your reservation system. So this can be a good option if you already have the dumb meters sockets already deployed to your RV park and you simply want to just pull out the dumb meter and stick in a smart meter. That can definitely be a good option for you as well. The third option is a smart distribution panel. So instead of putting a distribution panel in like a traditional Eaton or a General Electric or whatever, you put in a smart distribution panel that can contain both traditional breakers and smart breakers. So the traditional breakers are less expensive, the smart breakers cost more, but they allow you to read the electricity on that circuit. There's several players in this market: Eaton, Leviathan, Span, to name a few. I think Square D may have an option now, but there's a lot of dedicated panels out there that are smart panels that you can deploy. Now, one thing I've found is these solutions are geared more towards the smart home environment, and they're maybe not so suitable for an RV park where a lot of the electronics are outdoors and heavier power needs. The smart breakers can be expensive, and all the smart breakers and smart panels that I checked into, the maximum breaker size you could get was a 50 amp, a double pole 50, or a double pole 60. And those obviously I have an issue with those when I'm running 100 amp branch circuits to each of my RV sites. So I'm going to take my 100 amp and pare it down to 50 or 60 amp. And with Eaton specifically, I actually bought one to test it out, and I couldn't even get 3 gauge 3/0 gauge wire into it for a 70 amp connection. So it seems like you can only run the 50 amp 6 gauge into an Eaton breaker just because the lugs are so small. So here at our Harmony Ridge, we run 100 amp breakers, so it basically was a deal breaker for us, and we had to abandon that solution and pivot. Now, we could use that solution. I was talking about the distribution panel over here, so I could put 3 of those Eaton breakers into my traditional panel over here, and I could monitor it that way. The 50 amp smart breaker takes up 3 spaces, and then the 20 and the 30 amp single pole breakers take up 2 spaces each. So I would consume 7 of my 8 slots in my panel here. So I didn't really want to go that route because the cost would be prohibitive. Can you imagine doing that for multiple RV sites? The really cool benefit of a smart breaker is you can remotely turn on and off a breaker. I thought maybe you could reset them too, but that's not the case as well. I had to test it out, and if the breaker trips, you're still going to need boots on the ground to diagnose the problem and go in and reset that breaker. So that is one of the huge pros of having a smart breaker, smart panel type of solution, is the remote control of flipping that breaker on and off. The breaker also has safety devices anyway that Eaton does, where if you're at the distribution panel, you can actually lock out the remote control while you work on the circuits. So that's done for safety reasons. So pretty slick technology. That leads us to the fourth option, and that's taking a traditional RV panel here, like you see in here, and installing some hardware inside of it to make it a smart distribution panel, I guess. And we've already done a couple here, and you'll see that we've retrofitted a couple antennas on the back for the Wi-Fi connection. So these traditional Eaton panels have already been smartified. They became smart. So, and the way it works is a device goes inside. It's a little bit thicker than a cell phone. It connects Wi-Fi to the Wi-Fi signal, and then it's got CT clamps or current transformers that just latch on to the existing wires. You don't have to disconnect any wires or anything. You just kind of put them on there like a clothespin. I mean, it's not that simple, but it's kind of that sort of thing. And this is actually the solution that we've chosen for Harmony Ridge RV Park. Well, you already saw the antennas, so we've already installed it. We're using it. We're going to have a video that's going to show more on these later. We have a smart RV park playlist, so check that playlist for videos to find more information on, on the solution we did here, taking a traditional distribution box and educating it to be smart. I've linked that playlist, the Smart RV Park playlist, above. You may also find it down in the description if it's not above my finger. So check that playlist out if you want to see more on the RV Park the Smart RV Park. You won't want to miss those videos. Now, if you'd like a demo on some of the other solutions I mentioned, or you have some questions, or have anything you'd like to share, please comment below. And we also have some affiliate links down in the description to help you pick up some of these products, and also at the Harmony Ridge RV Park website. So go on over there if you want to get links to the actual products. And please like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell for you to get notifications. And I will see you in the next video.